Hello and good evening. Please let me know if you can hear me clearly by responding with capital yes on the chat. All right. Thank you very much. So let me share my screen. Okay. Please let me know if you can see my screen. So today we will continue from where we stopped last week. So I'm going to open the code snippet for part two and then click on select folder to be able to see our Jupyter Lab notebook files. So last week we saw how to use pandas, to create both series and data frame. And we noticed that panda series is a variable of a column of a data set, while the data frame is just the combination of those variables that you create, with pandas. And to create a pandas series, you will use after you import pandas as PD. Then to create a pandas series, you will say pd dot series. And we notice that the S in the series is in capital letter, right? And you pass your list inside that PD dot series, and that will help you to create a Panda series. And for Panda data frame, the same thing, PD dot data frame. And data frame there, the capital D, the D there must be in capital, and the F there must also be in capital F. By that, you'll be able to pass in your dictionary, and that will get you, to have a data frame. And we have seen several methods or attributes. So who can tell me the kind of attributes they remember with pandas and data frame? Somebody should tell me. I want, I think about how many people are online now? About 124 people are online. Please just mention about three attributes that you know with panda data frame. Okay, I can see Damilola. I can see Steven. Ola. Olayemi Adeyi, you want me to enlarge my screen? We've not even started. We are just revising what we did last week. And you can see your other colleagues, they've been, putting things on the charts. All right. I can see .ilog, I can see .log, I can see .info, I can see .rename, I can see the transpose. No, we did not do the transpose. Remember, the transpose is for numpy array, which is in 2 dimension. Okay. Dot reshape. Please don't be mixing this thing. We have numpy and we have pandas. So when we get to pandas, this is where we are dealing with. Of course, it's also in 2 dimension, but not in numpy array. This one is in pandas data frame. So all those dot transpose will not go, all those dot reshape will not go. Please don't interchange them. All right, thank you very much. I can see that many people were able to follow with what we did last week. So I'm not going to open anything for this Pandas one because we've already treated it. If my screen is blurred, make sure you change your settings into 720p. All right. If you are using 144p, so that you can save your data, then there is what is called no free lunch. You can't have your cake and you can't eat your cake and still have it. It's not possible. Okay. Make sure you increase your settings to 70p or 1020p resolution. That's 1080 HD resolution. That is how to enjoy this YouTube live. Thank you very much. So today, everything we have discussed last week on Wednesday is what we are going to apply today. Today will just be for us to know how to import any kind of data, in our hard disk, in our local directory. Then from there, you will be able to apply all the attributes. I'm not going to repeat any attributes. I will just apply it. I believe you understand why we applied it because we have already, I've already discussed it with you. So you all know how it works. I can see people writing .add, .shape, .tail, .ilog, .drop, .rename, and all those kind of stuff. .describe. So those things are what we are going to apply to our data frame today. All right. So people are saying I should change my theme to black, while others are saying I should change it to white. So I don't know which one to use. I will just, if I change it to black and I see any any comment, then I will change it to my black. Okay. Let's see. Dark. All right. So what about this one? Do you like it? If I can see 5 years, yeah, I will continue with black. Otherwise, I will restore to my former team. Is this okay for you? Okay, I just increase the font size now. I saw a lot of no, 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 no. All right. I can see yes and no now. White, oh no, please, no, no. All right, I'm sorry, white people. The what do you call it? The pandas script, the Jupyter Lab notebook script that I'm using, you have it already. So just open your own script and then follow with me, please. So let me just go back to my white team. Okay. So today we'll be looking at the second part of the pandas, which is importing data with pandas. Okay. As you know that when you are doing data science, you will not be creating uh a data frame from the scratch. Somebody could have sent you that data set which you will use for the analysis. All right. So but the one we did last week was just to know how to create that. For example, you want to become a how will I call it, you want to become a lecturer in the university, you must have gone for which one is it, maybe BSc in education, so that you can know how to teach it very well. For me teaching you, I also underwent training with our studio in the US, so as to know how to teach our people in data science. Okay, so the same thing, right? So today you will see how we can use some functions to be able to import our data in Python. So today you will see how we can use functions such as read underscore CSV, to import CSV into with pandas. For example, CSV is comma separated value. And when you open a CSV file with your notepad, you will notice that every value there is being separated by a comma. That is why they call it comma separated value. Okay. How to import a CSV, of course, when you look at the extension of your data, you will see that it is .csv. For example, let me show you this data. Uh, if you look at data at directory, okay. If you look at data directory, you will see .csv, 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 .xlsx. So if you cannot see .csv in your own computer, so what you will do is to click on view, right? Click on view, click on show, and then you will see file name extensions. So once you activate file name extensions, you'll be able to see the extension of your file, to see that you are not guessing whether this file is a CSV, or this file is a spreadsheet, or this file is a starter file. Okay, you could have seen it there, and you must understand it. CSV is CSV, comma, separated value. XLSX is a spreadsheet file, which is from Excel, Microsoft Excel, or Google Worksheets. Then we have .dta. The .dta here is from Stata. Okay, if anybody sends you a Stata file, it will come in form of .dta. Then we have another one called .sav. This one here, SAV. SAV is from Stata, is from SPSS, statistical package for social sciences scientists. So this SAV is from SPSS. Then another one is .json. This one you may not always have it, except you are scraping data from the internet. All right, this is .json file. Okay, this is also a part of a file that your pandas can help you to read. I hope you understand it. Any question on the chat? If everything is clear so far, just say yes. Otherwise, you can say no. Okay, if I get 5 no, I'm going to repeat myself. If there's no, I will continue. All right, thank you. So now you see the CSV is a comma separated value, and to import it, it will just be pd.read_csv. Very simple. All right, and for Excel, it is pd.read_excel. You can see Excel here. All right, that one is for Google Sheet or Microsoft Workbook. Then we now have .json. So everything about importing with Panda, we always start with pd_read. Right, the extension is what we follow. You can see _CSV_Excel _JSON_HTML _SAL. That is for SAS _Stata_SAV. I believe this is very clear now. All right. Now you have the same materials I'm using. You have the same material. So just open it. That is code snippet for part 2. Okay, and I'm currently in pandas 2.ipynb file, right? So the data that we'll be using is all in the data directory. You can see, so there are a lot of data sets here. Okay, so what you will do when you are importing data set is to know your working directory. Okay, and to know your working directory, there is a code for it. It is, you just write pwd. Okay, print working directory, and immediately you run it. Pwd. Okay, it will print out the working directory that you are currently in. Okay, it's my Jupyter Lab notebook is connected to the kernel. All right, you can see here is my working directory. Okay, so currently you see that I am inside the code snippet for part 2. That is the working directory that I'm currently in. Working directory, which is working directory, WD working directory, is the place you are working. Just like where you are now, you could be inside the library, you could be inside your house or your home, you could be inside the church or wherever. Where you are is your working directory. Okay, so me personally, I am inside my code snippet for part 2, and you will see here that you can see under this explore, you see that I am inside the code snippet for part 2. So now, if I want to move into dictionary, because sorry, if I want to move into dataset directory, because that is where my data is. So I'm going to specify this directory to say that okay, go into data set directory and pick a particular data set from it, and that is it. You can see here is a directory data set, and any data I'm picking will be from there, and this is exactly how you will do it. Now look at the data set. So I will be working with Ethiopia flowers data set. All right, it's the CSV data, and I created it by myself. It's from the initially it's from the ID data set, but I tried to localize it. That's why that time I was working with European Union, uh, economic, what did they call it? Uh, Economic women economic affairs in Netherlands, women economic affairs in Netherlands. So we help them to prepare all these materials, for about 10 countries. So now we try to localize it, but we don't have Nigeria example. I'm sorry. Okay, but don't worry, still the same thing. So now look at this Ethiopia flowers.csv. You will see that this Ethiopia flower.csv is inside this data set directory. So when I'm calling this data, this is how I will do it. You can see the first thing is to import pandas as PD. Okay. Now look at it now. I'm saying because the CSV data set, I said PD dot read underscore CSV. Then I now put a path here. Here is what is called a path. A path is like a directory where you want to take your data set, your file. So my file is inside the data set. If you look at when I started, I said PWD. This one shows me my root directory. So this is my parent directory, which is this guy here. And after this guy, the next thing is where I am picking my dataset. In this case, is inside the dataset directory. That is why I said pd dot read underscore csv. Then I put the quotation because this one, as you can see, is a string. So here is the path to my dataset, and that is dataset slash then the name of the data that I want to pick, which is Ethiopia flower dataset. Here is it. You can see Ethiopia flower dataset. And immediately I run it, you can see I now have what is called a data frame. You can see I now have a data frame. How do I know that it is a data frame? I can just say type. Okay, I can say type. Okay, and say Ethiopia flower, the name of the variable that I store the result into. You can see that it's saying that it is a pandas core data frame. Immediately the data frame, I can start applying all the attributes of this panda data frame into it. For example, I can say .head, and that will give me the first 5 observations of my data frame. I can also say .head, this will give me the first 10 observations for my data frame. I can say .tail, I can say .shape, and that gives me 350 by 5, meaning that I have 350 rows and 5 columns. I can also ask for the column by saying .column. I believe you know all these things. And this one gives me the list of my columns: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and species. And then I can also ask for .info. You can see it shows me that the first column, sepal length, is a float data type. The sepal width is a float, and the species is object. And you know what object means? Object is also a string in pandas data frame. That is how to import a CSV. Okay. My problem is always where to get data set. Tutor always say it's sent on the group chat and I don't access it. Of course I sent it, and I believe your other friends or colleagues, they have access to it. Otherwise, if you don't have access to it, Let me send you the link again on the group. And then another challenge that many people are facing is that you people will not read the chats on the WhatsApp group. You only come here to start saying that you don't have it. Please, anytime we post something on the group, make sure you read it. Sometimes you will post something, somebody will not even read it and start asking you questions again. First, read what they share, and then you can start asking. But people will not read it, they will just be asking you something. All right, so please let me find a way to send it to you again. And after today, don't ask me again, please. So I'm trying to look for it. It's inside the GitHub. Okay. It's inside. So it's loading. So it's inside this folder. Okay. Yes, all the script, data, and everything. But for today, we are in the code snippet for part 2, which is this one here. This is the link. Okay. This is the link. So I'm going to send it to the YouTube chat. Then I will send it to the group again. So after today, if you ask me again, I will just ignore your question. Material. Oh, I cannot. Material for part 2, or material for pandas, for example. Okay, here you go. I believe. Can you have the link to the GitHub? Why not? Yes. So the link to the GitHub is the reason why I created a short URL or using Git to help download the Git repository is because of those people that may not have access, that they don't know GitHub. That is why. So this is this is the whole repo. Okay. Now, second question: how can we import Excel? So who can tell me the function to import an spreadsheet file in Pandas? Who can tell me, based on what I have discussed so far, who can tell me a function to import spreadsheet with Pandas? Anyone, please? Okay, anybody? Okay. Dot read. It's not dot read though. Blessed Alade wanted to get it, but you don't get it. You almost got it, but you don't get it. It's not dot read. It's not dot read. What is the function to import? It's even here on the screen. Can you see it on the screen? It's here on the screen. That is pd dot read underscore excel. Yeah, data evangelist, you got it. Thank you. So now let's see how to import this data. The data is called, where we are understanding the name of a given name, and where the name originated from and who bears the name. So for example, when you hear Abada, is from Arabic, must be it's a male name, and it's from the origin Buaric and Saidic, something like that. So somebody in our group can also help us, document Nigerian names. That would be a great one. Nobody has ever done it before. Okay, if you are looking for a creative project that can help you get scholarship, can help you get recommendation or whatever, Just think about something you can do for Nigeria, Africa, and that will also elevate you. Now, so let's see how to import dataset. Remember, the dataset is deliberately kept inside the dataset directory. So when you are importing dataset, you must reference this directory, otherwise you will get an error. Okay, so let's do it together. So first of all, the name that we store the result is East Africa names, and then we use pd.read underscore excel, and we put the directory, that's the data set, slash the name of the data. Okay, that is East Africa dot xlsx, and then you run it. I want to show you this one first before I move forward. Now, if I do like this, you will notice that when I create a new cell and I say East Africa names dot ed, you see that I have the data, you can see, and that is the first sheet inside this place. But remember that a workbook can contain many sheets. Okay, but if you don't specify the sheet that you want to get your data from, in that case, Pandas will automatically import the first sheet in the workbook. Excel workbook contains many sheets, but if you don't specify which sheet is your data set coming from, then by default it will use the first sheet. So that is why we always use this argument called sheet name, right? The sheet name argument, you can specify it in terms of the index. Remember, the Python index starts with 0 and so on, or you can import it with the label. For example, here I'll just say sheet name is equal to 0. In this case, it will help me import the first sheet. All right. And if I say sheet name is equal to 1, in this case, it will import the second sheet. And I don't think there's any data set in this second sheet. So let's run it. You can see it throws an error, value error, meaning that what is it? If you go down to the error, you see worksheet index 1 is invalid, one worksheet found. So that is what that one means, meaning that there is no other second sheet. So data is only in the first sheet. So that is why we are going to put sheet is equal to 0 here, or using the second method by saying sheet name is equal to sheet 1. You can see here that here is specified it as sheet 1, no space. That's why we have this. My co-pilot is one working, it has already, it understood that there is no space here. That is why it wrote this. So thanks to my what do you call it? What's the problem here? Worksheet name sheet 1 not found. Okay, it's in capital letter. What's the problem there? That is East African name. So let's open it so that we can know the data. East African names. Okay, you can see here what is there is sheet 3, not sheet 1. So I'll just say it is sheet 3. Okay, so I just run it. Now you can see there's no error, and I can start playing with it. For example, I can say what are the columns, dot columns. I run it and I have all of this. Okay, I can say sheet dot ed, and so on and so forth. So now over to you. How can we activate Copilot on VS Code, sir? Um, I don't. Let me see. How did they Copilot? I don't even know. Let me see. Uh, I didn't know how I actually that time. So just go to YouTube and type that thing that you asked me. Just type it on YouTube. You will see many videos that will guide you on how to configure your Copilot. Or let me that is Control Shift P. Let me type Copilot. Okay, you can see it here. Copilot, and you can just open any of them and activate it. So just type Copilot, or you watch YouTube video to see how to activate it. Is it ideal for beginner? Yes, of course, it's ideal. So it will just help you to know to complete your code. If there's any error, you can ask it. Yes, I can ask my Copilot about anything. Okay, and it will do the work for you. It's a good one. Log in to GitHub on VS Code. Yeah, exactly. So now JSON is the same thing. Read underscore JSON, and you will have the data. Now, I believe there's no more question on this matter. Is there any question on importing data with pandas? Okay. So sometimes after you have done a lot of data manipulation with pandas, the next thing is, for example, let's say that you clean the data set, you have arranged everything in good order, you have tidied your data set, and your manager is now asking you to give them a clean data, right? So how do you now export that your clean data from pandas, as an external file? This external file could be any file. It could be a spreadsheet file, it could be a CSV file, it could be a which one again, a JSON file, it could be a data file, SPL file, or SAS file. So it is very simple. What you will do is you just call on the .to underscore to your data frame. For example, imagine our clean data frame is DF. So if you want to export the data frame as CSV, what you will do is to say dot to underscore CSV and put your new file inside here, and that is how to export the data. For example, for Excel, you just say to underscore Excel on your data frame, and you put the file name or the file path. Then that is very simple. Now let's see a case study how we can do that. Number one, we want to import police shooting data set. Okay, it's on the data set directory. So now I have looked at this one. You can see .ed. I can see what is inside this police shooting data frame. I can see the shape. It has about 5,793 rows and about 14 columns, and I can see .info to see several attributes of the columns or variables in this data frame. Now, let me now export this data as data file. Maybe my other department, they don't have Excel installed on their computer, and they only have Stata installed. So how can you give them? They may even ask you, please, when you are sending me the data, send it in Stata file, or send it in the CSV file, send it in SPSS file. So it's always good to follow their instruction. Otherwise, you may put yourself into unnecessary trouble. So that is why you need to master this. So now I have my police shooting. Imagine, okay, let's do something. Manner of death. Okay, for example, let's just rename this gender to sex. For example, let's rename gender to rename a particular column. So what we do now is to call on the object police shooting dot rename, right? Can somebody still remember this? So if you want to rename the gender here as sex, Remember, we took our time on Wednesday to do it, and now it's your turn now to remember it. Anybody? If you remember it, I will continue. If you don't remember it, I will just keep this. Anybody, please? Yeah, thank you. You know, I taught you. Yeah, thank you so much. Our Fables frames. So please show me, tell me how to do it. We are all equal now. Okay, on this matter, pandas attribute, we are all equal. So somebody should tell me how to do it. I'm waiting, please. What is the how are we going to rename this gender to sex? Which attribute are we using to do that? Somebody is asking me why doing this in pandas? Why not do it in Excel? Okay, why not do it in Excel? Of course, you can do it in Excel, but imagine this police shooting. They call it police shooting. If they can't police shooting in America or in Nigeria, you know how many it will be. So if they start counting it from 1990 to now, you know how many. So in that case, it could, I don't know, it could be more than 1 million rows. And when you do that in Excel, it can slow down your computer, or your computer imagine you are using 4 gig RAM and you are doing this in Excel. Okay, thank you. Somebody has done it for me. Thank you. Odunayo Joseph, thank you very much. So that's exactly what I just copy your code and then I put it here. Okay, so this is what will get us to do the work. Dot rename, okay, and then column. Yeah, thank you very much. You got it, and I'm so happy. Thank you. So now you can see that it works. Now to know that it works, you can actually use police shooting.ed or columns. Let's use columns. In fact, let's use ed so that we can see it properly. .ed. Okay. Now you can see that. Remember the gender there is not capital G, it's small g. That is why nothing happens here. You can see it does not have any effect. So now we need to call this one. Remember, Python is case sensitive. It does not throw an error, but it did not do anything. But now that we corrected ourselves here, you can see that we now have capital S. I don't want capital S. I want small x. Okay. So now you can see that. Let's see. Oh, let me run it again because the first operation has overriding the second operation. So, but now you can see that it will work now. So you just run it. You run it, and then run it again. You can see that we now have this operation. So now let's now send the data to our maybe HR or another investigation department, for example. So let's say they are asking the data to be in stata. What we do is just to say on your pandas data frame object, that is police shooting, you just say dot to underscore stata, okay? Dot to underscore stata, and you put the directory there. So this time around, let's say that I don't want to put it inside this guy, but I want to put it inside the code snippet itself so that I can easily see it, around here. So to do that, what I will just do is just to remove the data set. Okay. When I remove this data set directory, what where it will send it to or export it to is our root directory, which is under here. So if I run this guy now, be looking at it, oh, you can see it's under here. This is it. Okay, it's under here. And if you don't believe, I can actually delete this guy. Okay, let me delete this one too again. All right. So now if I run it again, you can see that it comes here. This is it. All right. And for the Excel file, so what we do is to say dot to Excel and put the directory there. Okay, and send it. And now you can see here it is. Okay. And if you like, you can actually create another folder here. Let's create another folder and call it output data or clean data, for example. Let's call it clean data, clean uh clean underscore data. Okay, now it's another directory. So to send the data, to send the clean data into this directory, you can see the directory is actually empty. To send it, so what we do is to call it here. You just say clean underscore data slash clean underscore data slash, and then you send it. Now you can see that the spreadsheet is not here, and you can actually open it. You can open it with no, let's not open it in text editor, but we can actually come to the data here, and open it. This is it. Open it in our spreadsheet. Now you can see this is the data, and the sex here is gender that we renamed before, and that is what we have here. And that is how to export data frame in out of Python. All right. Any question? Sir, please, what is Starter? Starter is another software. It's an analytical software, just like your Excel. Can we convert it to a PDF? I don't think so. But let's try it. I don't think so. But let's try it to PDF. I don't think so, but let's try it. You can see attribute error. So you cannot convert to PDF. If you want to convert to PDF, what you will do is to open it in your Excel and then convert it to PDF inside the Excel. So that is how to import data set, any data set of your choice. So I want to give you a quick exercise now. Create a particular folder in your computer, and then try to import any data set of your choice, any data set you have ever worked with. Try to import it and give me a code, to show that this is the code that you use to import it. You have just 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to do this. So I'm going to time you now. You can even do any imaginary data set and give me a code. Give me a code. You can see so it's loading. Now, your 2 minutes. So you spend about 20 seconds now. Import any data set of your choice and give me the code. If you don't import it, just imagine any data set and try to give me the code that will make the data set to be imported with Pandas. Tony Water, thank you. Please send me the code. Send me the code. Put the code on chat. Put the code on the chat. Nobody has done it. So I'm going to, you have about 17 seconds more. And after that, I will continue. Remember that this is data science and machine learning training. At the beginning of your success in data science and machine learning actually starts from here. You must know how to import data sets. Without this, you cannot do any data science activity. Okay, Temitope, this will work, but you have a space under your dot, before you have CSV. So this is through an error. Okay, so try to correct your error. Okay, now I want to move into Pandas 3, which is working with data sets that have missing value. Of course, no data set will ever come to you clean. Okay, Albert is saying that is there a need to put index is equal to false? Yes, there's a need. Reason being that if you don't say index is equal to false, Python in the spreadsheet or CSV that was exported out, the index will come in form of 0, 1, 2, 3 to the end of the data, right? Which is not meaningful to anybody receiving the data set. In fact, it is useless because nobody ever starts number with 0. Okay, so that is why it's always good to say index is equal to false when you are exporting the data. Okay, so now let's see how we can clean data sets. For example, by understanding what our missing data set is. As I said before, no data will come to you clean. Okay, for example, you will see several reasons why data set has a gap. A gap is also called a missing value. And Python identify a missing value by null, null. So when you have data set that has missing values, okay, the first thing is to identify the missing value. The second thing is to know why that missing values are there, okay. And the third thing to do is to know how to treat such a missing value. So in this session now, you will see how to recognize a missing value, and then you will see how to even do statistics of it. For example, counting the missing value. For example, when you have data set that has column gender, column origin, the column salary, and in gender you saw about 2 missing values, and in salary, because people don't want to put their salary in the survey that they use to collect the data, you may have missing value in such a column. So let's see how to recognize a missing value with Pandas. Remember, I'm going to import my libraries. Here I'm importing NumPy and Pandas. So I want to work with Somalia women data sets. So this is the data set, that has the height and weight of Somalia women. I'm sorry, we don't have that for Nigeria. Okay, so here we have this. We imported this. You know how to import already. This is CSV data, and then here we carry out our how will I call it? We want to see the glimpse of that data. Okay, now to check whether there is missing value in this data. So we can use two attributes. Either of the two will work. So the first one is dot .na. The second one is dot .nul, that is dot null. So for me, I always like to use this one here because this one is also in R programming, but we don't have is dot null in R programming. But because you are learning Python, you can use is dot null, but both will work. Okay, in fact, this one, Pythonista actually they use this one most than this one. They use this one a lot than this one. So, but the two will work. When I say is dot .na, you can see that it throws a series of true and false for each column. Here I can see false, 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 true, and so on and so forth. But the joy is to actually know how many missing values are in both columns, in both variables. In that case, we are going to also apply dot sum to it. So here our operations will be is dot .na, then dot sum. Dot sum will now help us to summarize everything. You can see now that here we have height to means 4 values in height and a way to have 5 missing. Okay, so that is how to get the number of missing values in your data frame. Another case is our police shooting data set. Okay, here I imported it, and then I use is dot .na. So now I'm going to use is dot null so that you can see that the two are actually working. Okay, so I just say is null, and I say sum. You can see that there is no changes between is dot .na and is dot sum. So the two is dot .na and is dot null. Sorry, it's not is dot null. Is NA and is null. Sorry, is NA and is null. In our programming, we use is dot .na. So I'm interchanging the two. Okay. Now that you know how to recognize a missing value in your data set, the next thing is to know how to take care or to understand the strategy to treat those missing values. And basically, there are about how many? Of course, there are several strategies to treat missing value. The first one, which is very harmful, is to actually get rid of it. For example, you say, it doesn't concern me. I beg, it's not my business. I don't know why it happens, so I just want to remove it. Okay. The second method is to replace the missing value by using any data imputation of your choice. And now, what is data imputation? So data imputation is a process at which you replace the missing value with a known method. This known method could be to replace the missing value by mean or the average of those numbers that are not missing. That's number one. You can also apply machine learning with it. But for this class, we are going to see how to use data imputation methods such as in placing with mean, in placing with median, or in placing with a particular value. I hope you understand it. If you don't understand this, say yes on the chat. If you don't understand what I'm been saying this morning, somebody is saying pension calculator 0 is used for men, why 1 for. I don't know what you are saying here. I'm sorry. We have got into data cleaning. Yes, you can say it. Yes, you can say so. Yes, we are now into data cleaning. Not really data cleaning per se, but replacing missing value is also part of data cleaning. But what we're trying to do here is to expose you to the world of possibilities. Here we are just trying to explore our data set. When you know how to explore the data set, to do data cleaning and to do data analysis will be very, very easy because you are familiar with what you are doing and you can easily apply any method with it. Does average work for all projects? Um, Not really, because when data has an outlier, that always affect the average as it means of as part of the central tendency. We have we have three main central tendency or measure of averages, and they are median mode. So when anytime we have a big number, that is a little bit far above or below the other number, we will have an outlier. So when we have outlier, right, it will affect your mean. For example, let's say that in Nigeria, okay, we are all working as a teacher or working as a police man, for example, and you are working with central bank or you are working with you are the PA of Tinubu. You can see that your salary will be far higher than us. And now when they are now estimating the salary of people in this group, your own will increase the mean because of your every salary of a teacher. Let's say the minimum salary in Nigeria is 70,000 naira, and you are collecting 5 million naira in a month. You can see. So that is why mean will not be the best method for every instance. Okay, that is why we have median. So median now balances the outlier in case your data has an outlier. Okay. And so on and so forth. What's the difference between data science and machine learning? I beg, we are dealing with pandas now. Okay? I don't understand, sir. My God. What is the difference between teach us how to use ML to treat missing value? Teach us how to use ML. Teach us how to use. We are not in ML yet. Okay? The one I even taught yourself. Nobody, only one person gave me method to create a rename, and you want to learn advanced something, but the main let's continue from our solo method now, and later you understand how to do all this. Remember, the main thing is not actually to know the complex method. The main thing is to know the simple method. Once you know the simple method, you can easily build the muscle by yourself. Okay. All right. What are we doing? Yeah, we have identified missing values in uh, in Somalia shooting data set. You can see now. You can see we have missing value in the armed variable. We have missing value in the age variable. We have missing value in the fleet variable, and we have missing value in the coordinate variable such as longitude and latitude. Okay, now I've talked about two main method of data imputation. The first one is to get rid of that missing value. Of course, it's very dangerous, to just get rid of it. And the main reason why you may want to get rid of it is, for example, when somebody omits a salary in the survey. In that case, you can't query the person because salary question is actually case sensitive. We don't have security. If I tell you I'm collecting 30 million naira in a month, everybody will be looking for me, and that's why many people will want to hide their sensitive information. So you can see. So once you don't have that data set, there's no need to actually impute it. So just try to get rid of it. For example, when I was working with 54 gene, we will always have several cases why we may get rid of data. The first one is if you don't have consent, if you don't consent with the data, saying that we cannot use your data for further diagnosis, or we cannot use your data for analysis, of course, we have to get rid of your data. That's number one. That is when you don't give us consent with it. Another thing is when we don't know your, let's say we don't know your, we cannot find your blood sample in the laboratory. We need to recognize you with your blood sample. So imagine in the lab we cannot see your blood sample again. So what we do is to get rid of that data entirely. Another reason is, which one again? Which one again? Let's say we don't have your phone number, okay? Because sometimes we may have other case study. So for example, we have OG study, we have which one again? HSD study, we have many studies that involve several diseases. Okay, so if you don't have your phone number, okay, there's no way we can trace the data to you, or there's no way we can ask you for further questions. In that case, we will get rid of the data entirely. So those are the reasons why you may want to get rid of the data, from the analysis. So let's see. Here we are working with a Somalia woman data set. You can see, for example, you want to calculate BMI, for example, and here there is no value for weight. You can see in that case, you can't get BMI, body mass index. In that case, you can't get body mass index. The next thing is just for you to get rid of it. Okay. And now let's see how to get rid of the data that is missing. So what we do here is to use the drop attribute. Drop any attribute. Drop any attribute. Okay. So when you say drop any, all right, and you apply it, you will see that here now, when you look for the shape, it will remove all those rows where either weight or height is missing. You can see initially we have 250 rows. Now that we have gotten rid of the missing value, we now left with 241 rows. In that case, we have removed about 9 rows that does not have a valid value in either height or weight. Okay, so I have this one, East Africa. Okay, sometimes when you are importing data, that has some encoding attributes, it will not it will be throwing an error. So in that case, we'll be telling you you have an encoding problem. So what you will do is to find a way, just Google that error on the internet, and you will get encoding code that will make the data to work. So let me run it. I have run this. Now I've gotten the head. You can see these are the first five observations in the Africa data set. Now you can see that the origin here, you can see we have 970 missing in origin 2. We have 109 missing in origin 3, and we have 1116 missing in origin 4. So now, how do we remove the missing value in this? Okay, to remove any variable, with missing value, okay, you will use dot you will use drop any attributes. Okay, you will use any drop any attributes. Now we also have another argument called axis is equal to columns. Okay, remember it's either 0 or 1. Yeah, so here I'm using columns. So what this one is doing is that it's removing those variables where there are missing values. You can see that here we have origin 2, origin 3, and origin 4. Because we said drop NA axis is equal to columns. So this one is now removing those variables entirely. That's why you now have all of this. Another strategy to treat missing value that I have mentioned before is inputting the missing value. Missing value. Imputation means replacing the missing value with a known value. Okay. So first of all, let's take a break. We have spent about 1 hour now. Let's have a break for 5 minutes. You know, as we always do in our break, we will stand up, we will drink a cup of water or a cup of coffee. If you have somebody in your house, tell them I'm enjoying pandas and then come back. If you are married, go and tell your husband or your wife, tell her or him, I love you, and you come back. And if you are still looking unto God, say, God, answer me as I am here. All right. Take it 4 minute break. 4 minute break. So, madam, this is the picture of pandas. Try to show him this and tell him that pandas is a module in Python that helps us to do analysis and a little visualization. Okay. Hello, please. Can you hear me now? All right. Thank you very much. So let me share my screen again. Okay. So let me scroll. Yeah. So let's see. We are now in. Okay. So we are now in data imputation method. So where we are going to impute the missing value with a known value. Okay. So let's see how it works. It's very simple. So don't let the word data imputation scare you away. So what we do is let's load our data. Here we have Somalia women data frame, and you can see that the missing value, we have 4 missing value in height and 5 missing values in weight. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I want to impute the missing value in height with the mean. Okay. First of all, I want to calculate the mean, the average height, for those Somalia women. So what I do now, you can see I selected this one. You understand last week that when you do this one is to extract that column from data frame. Then I apply dot mean. Remember dot mean when we did numpy, array. So here I just said dot mean, and that gives me the mean value for the height in the data frame. Okay, the same thing I did this for weight, right? So I have the mean weight is 64.13 kg, and the mean height is 64.71 uh 64.71. Is it inches? Inches, yes, inches. Okay. So now fill the missing value, right, with those mean. So what we do is to say, you can see, look at it. We are using the dot fill na method. Dot fill na method. In this case, you just say Somalia woman dot fill na, okay, and put a bracket there, and then say Somalia women dot mean. So what this one will do, Somalia women dot mean, what it will do is to calculate the mean value for each variable. For example, look at this here. So it will automatically, before I was doing it manually, one by one. Now, if I just supply dot mean to the data frame, so it will automatically um, calculate the mean for each variable in that data frame. So now, if I now come here and apply the dot fill na attribute, and then say Somalia dot mean. So this one, as you know, it will calculate the average for each variable, and the fill na will now replace those missing value with the averages that this one has estimated for us here. And then when we do that, you will see that even our data frame has changed. Initially, when we say dot head, you can see that there is no decimal. Of course, there are decimal places, but they are all in one decimal place. But when we apply the dot fill na, you can see that we now have everything like this in many decimal places. So that means that the fill na has helped us to impute the missing value for our missing values, and then it's using the method called main to impute those missing value. You can see. So when I now say is dot na dot is dot sum, you can see it's telling us that there is no missing value, and that is how to impute missing value with the average method. Any question? I think the thing to learn is too much. It's not really much. On a good note, I even made this so simpler for you. Okay, if you look at the, if you watch other videos, right, they will not cover all these things when they are dealing with pandas. Okay, but I try to break. You can see, I try to break that pandas into several notebooks so that we are learning it one by one. You can see we learn several ways, we learn several attributes for data frames. After that, we learn how to import missing values. Sorry, how to import our data. Okay, so thank you very much. So, so now we have seen several ways to treat the missing values. Let's stop here and assimilate this one for today. Thank you, sir. Very detailed. Okay. Can we reduce decimal places using 1F, 2F like that? The input missing value, we just do all these things. But don't worry, it's not your problem. Our problem is just to analyze the data and then give them the insight. So let's not worry about that one. How can we deal with NaN? So NaN is the same thing as not a number, okay? The same thing as not a number. So in which this is just null here, right? Will help us to identify as missing value, and then the field NA will help us to replace it to a no value. So that is how it is. Okay. Can we improve data using graph on pandas? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by that. Please, we go. Let's recap, sir. We are still in 8:30. We have 2 hours. So let's open another data set. Let's open another script. This one is very simple. All right. I would like us to finish this one today, and then we continue the rest tomorrow. Is that good? Is that okay? I love this question. What if you have bool values such as yes or no? How do we feel it's missing value? Yes or no, as you know, it's not a discrete data, it's not a continuous data, rather it's a categorical data. Yes or no. Okay, so to impute the missing value for yes or no, we are going to use the method mode. So we use the method mode to impute the missing value. That's how to do it. Okay, so let's continue with this one. Of course, even me, I'm tired. I've been working with government this morning, and now again, I'm here teaching the people of God, in which I'm so passionate, with. So what we do when we are saying duplication in data frame, what do you mean by that? Sometimes a particular row may repeat itself. It could be due to unknown error, an error that beyond anybody's understanding. Okay. In the Bible said that we may have his peace. His peace is beyond understanding. Okay. So sometimes a duplicate may occur. Okay. It could be due to matching error. It could be due to something else. But as a data analyst or data scientist, you must be careful because duplication is a trap for you. When you are doing For example, imagine you are working with bank and you are saying that Mr. Emmanuel Peter has 2 accounts in GTB. How come the same person has 2 accounts? All right. And when you look at it thoroughly, you now notice that Mr. Emmanuel is the one that owns this 0001 account. It's also the one owning 001 account. You can see that there's duplicates. So what you will do is to actually remove the duplicate gingerly. Okay. Now let's see how to know whether there is duplicate in your data frame. So all of these things can also be done in Excel. Remember, in Excel, for example, it's very easy to do in spreadsheet. In spreadsheet, you just click on data, you will see remove duplicate, and automatically it will remove the duplicate for you. Now let's see. So to remove a duplicate or to identify a duplicate, you use the attribute called dot duplicated. Okay. So for example, I will be dealing with course attendance data frame. Not your own data frame, not your own course attendance, but somebody, the data that we collected, for those people that chose our course in Kenya, in Somalia, South Sudan, Uganda, Ethiopia, and some other countries like that. Okay, so now you can see the data is just about 17 rows. Now let's see how to select duplicates. And of course, there are many ways to select duplicates. For example, my name is Ezekiel Ogundepo, right? Your name is Ezekiel Ogunyemi. You can see, and we don't have duplicates in all the columns, but we have duplicates in a particular, maybe first name. I'm bearing Ezekiel, you are bearing Ezekiel. So how do we treat duplicates? So we must know the kind of duplicate you want to do. Is it that duplicate across all the columns, or is it a duplicate across a particular column? For example, let's say the fruit in your fridge, you have banana, you have a mango. Again, you are telling me you have banana. You can see that there's duplicate because you have banana in 2 places. So now let's see how to remove duplicates. The first thing to do is to actually identify whether there is a duplicate. So to do that, you just say dot duplicated. Once you apply dot duplicated in your data frame, you will get series of false or true. Here you can see false, 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 false. When it comes to row 14, it says true. So that means that there's a duplicate row in this data. Then you can see true again, you can see true again. So that means that there are duplicate rows in the combination of all the columns in this data frame. Okay. Now you can also get the total duplicates. So how do? You just say dot sum, and then you can see you have 3 duplicates in the data frame. Some people are saying that they are tired. Yes, I know you are tired, but remember, as I said, you have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday doing nothing in this class, and I've already given you a previous video in which we have treated all these things. So if you don't want to be doing express way like this, what you will do is to watch the video. I've also embedded it in your LMS. I've also sent it to you on WhatsApp. So it's very easier. Just like me now, I don't like learning many things at the same time. That's why I always like to get several materials that will prepare me for the class. And I've already done very well by giving you all the materials. I did not hide anything from you. Okay, great. So now you can see the duplicated the sum give us the total duplicates in our data set. Now let's see how to remove those duplicates. So to remove a duplicate is very simple. Number one, you will call the name of the data frame you want to remove the duplicates from, and then remember this code here, course attendance dot duplicated, gives us this one here, give us this list saying that it gives us the list of false and true. So that means that wherever it is true, then this guy will now help us to remove it. You can see it will help us. No, it will help us. Uh, it will it will show us those duplicates, as you can see, because this one here cause underscore attendance of duplicated. Wherever it is true, you can see true here. So that is where this guy is showing us. So here you can see it's showing us that here are the duplicate rules. Very simple. Because sometimes you cannot just abstractly remove duplicates. It is good for you to know where the duplicate coming from. That duplicate could be genuine. I can see another person in America bearing my name, Ezekiel Ogundepo, and it's also a male like me. It's also from Nigeria like me, but does not relate with me as family. Okay, so this guy will help us to know whether it's a true duplicate or it's a false duplicate. For example, you can see duplicate is coming here, Francisca. There's a duplicate here, Francisca. There's another duplicate here, Francis. Simon. So this one, so it does not give you, for example, now where you have John Jato, John Jato. You can see if I ask you how many people do you have, you just tell me it is one, because John Jato is the original data set. Another John Jato is a duplicate of the original data set. So that is what this guy is showing you, but not showing you all the data set that repeated itself. It only show you where the data repeated itself. I hope you understand it now. Okay, so now how do we now select the duplicate in all columns? It's very simple. That's so we just showed now. So you just call the name of the data frame and the condition that helps us to select the duplicate, which is this one, called attendance dot duplicated, and that gives you this. Okay. Now, another thing is, how can we select a duplicate based on some columns? So in this case, for example, we want to show duplicate by only the name. Okay. So you just say the same thing. You know, before we are making this parentheses empty, but the second here we just say name. You can see name here, and that is why this guy shows all that we have duplicate in Francisca, in Francis, and in Simon. Okay. Now, for example, you want to see duplicate by cost taking. You can see, we just say, you can see here, cost 13, cost 22, cost 15, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, another thing is to show the duplicate, you know, based on some columns. So here, you just apply the column as a list. So here you can see the column, the duplicate by name and by country. You can see the name Francisca, Uganda. You can see Francis from Kenya, Simon from South Sudan, and that's all about selecting duplicate in your data set. So tomorrow, God willing, I will show you how to remove duplicates in your data frame. Thank you very much. Any question for me? Over to you. Any question? So tomorrow class will be so interesting. So when you are coming tomorrow, try to install this pack module. Pip install Y data profiling. Make sure you import it tomorrow, please. Let me send it to you. Make sure you install it. It can take you some time. It can take you your data, but by the grace of God, we are going to use it tomorrow. Make sure you install it. Then on the group, please, please make sure make sure you install the Pandas profiling by using. All right, I just put it in your group, in your two groups. Make sure you install Pandas profiling tomorrow. Yes. So now let me show you how to install it. It's very simple. So depending on the ID you are using, if you are using VS Code, just click on. Let me try to zoom in. So just click on terminal. You can see terminal. Click on terminal. Click on new terminal. Your terminal will come up here like this, and then you can try to enlarge it. Okay, and then just paste the code. Paste the code like this. You can see my terminal is taking it from me saying, are you sure you want to paste 3 lines of code into terminal? No. So what I actually wanted is this guy. What I wanted is the what I wanted is this guy. Pip. What I wanted is this guy. You can see just right click and paste. You can see right click and paste. You can see pip install wide data profiling and you press yes. Make sure you connect yourself to your computer. Make sure you connect your computer with the internet. If you don't do this tomorrow class will be so boring if you don't do this. And don't ask me that you have not done it. If you don't do it, you are on your own. I just told you now. Okay, make sure you install it. I've sent on the group. Please watch WhatsApp group because I can't see it on the group. I don't know the WhatsApp group, you are not seeing it. But for me, I have sent your two WhatsApp groups in the general WhatsApp group. And I can't promise you I will send to your LMS. Just make sure that you are on the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much. Please make sure you watch today's video again. And the video on GPG platform is also a good one to watch before tomorrow, so that when you come to the class, everything will be so like it will be like we are doing revision. Okay, and from there you can start asking your question. How I wish we can make our tomorrow class to be on Google Meet, but I don't know if their name will allow it. Otherwise, I will tell them that we should meet on Wednesday and make it a real time with Google Meet so that you can see the way I'm talking. You can ask questions with your voice, and we get to know each other. God willing, we can do that on Wednesday. And I would like to do that if you are able to cover Pandas 5, Pandas 6, Pandas 7, and Pandas 8. I hope if you can watch those videos, this will be like a recent class, and so this will help us to be able to cover data visualization very well. Okay, if you're able to watch the video, let me send it to you again in case you don't have access to it. Let me try to look for it. Uh, uh, so under the playlist, under under this one here. Okay. Ah, not this one. This one premium video. This one here. Data science. Yeah, this one. Uh, okay. So you can see that we have covered many of these. All right, we have covered this. You have covered this. We are around this one here, and then on Wednesday, God willing, we can cover 7. So if you can take your time to watch it, that would be a good one, so that it will be like revision for you. Otherwise, if you don't have time, don't worry, you can meet me in the class and we do it together. Thank you very much. Please do enjoy your night, and the Lord be with you and bless your knowledge. Amen. Bye, everybody. Bye bye, everyone.